is the Fade 5 podcast with Brad Evans and Nate Lundy.
Place your bets, you jackwagons. From the Big Noise Evans here, joined by the good Nathaniel Lundy. 'Tis indeed another edition of the Fade 5 podcast. Now let's do some Jello shots because we got to make some college cash right out of the gate. And apparently the song is still playing. Lundy accidentally hit it. And maybe had it on repeat. We got some early bonus time with our track to lead off the show.
Well, it's like Pavlov, Brad. Every time I hear that music, in truth, every time I hear that music, I just watch my money disappear right out the window, right here in the office. It's gone every time that happens. Brad, you called it before we started the program. Let's go to the fighting Brett Favre's, shall we? Baby, we got a little interstate game going on tomorrow. Brad, here's the reason why I'm all about this. Okay, first of all, Mississippi State sucks. All right, they are going to be at the bottom of the SEC rankings. They are there in the preseason media poll, and there is no reason to believe that is not where they are exactly going to be at the end of the season, and that is last in the SEC rankings. But here's what I like: Charles Huff, former head coach at the Marshall Thundering Herd, for those of you that don't know, he's now at Southern Mississippi, and more than 15 players, including his starting quarterback, went with him from Marshall to Southern Mississippi. I think this is too many points, and so I'm absolutely going to take it at essentially close to the standard juice, minus 115 at DK. If you shop around, I think one of the books still has it at minus 110, but I think this is too many points. I think Southern Mississippi is going to be fine. They are at home as the Bulldogs come in to be able to take them on, and just because I'm psycho and it's the beginning of the college football season, Brad, I also put a quarter unit on Southern Miss to win straight up at plus 360. I'll take it, man. I will take it. So again, small, and I mean small, talking about a Funston here, small quarter unit bet on Southern Miss to actually pull the straight up upset against the Bulldogs. But 13.5, I am convinced, is too many points for Huff as he comes in. He starts new, but he starts new with a bunch of the players that he brought with him, including his starting quarterback.
Hopefully he's not going to be Charlie Huff and throw knuckleballs all over the field. So, I mean, that's the key there in my mind. So that's immediately where I went when I heard Huff. I'm thinking, I'm still in baseball mode. Let's go old school. But fly, Golden Eagles, fly. I like that call quite a bit because my other alma mater, where I earned my master's degree in geoscience with an emphasis in meteorology from Mississippi State, and they are indeed no bueno. All right, let's do the hokey pokey and we turn ourselves around. That's what it's all about. Yeah, baby. Let's go with Virginia Tech plus 7.5, taking on the Gamecocks of South Carolina. A little bit of intrigue here because the Beamer family, obviously, younger Beamer, head coach of South Carolina, going against his dad's former alma mater and one he really made his name at over a number of years. But I like Tech in this one. I like Captain Hook. Shiver me timber is going to come into play here in this one, plus a 7.5. You look at ESPN's Football Power Index. Tech, respectable number 32 in the country. South Carolina, people have high expectations because of Sellers under center. They're at number 11 in the nation, according to the FPI. If you look at the offensive rating as tracked at the analysts and predicted on that side on the season, Tech only at number 60. Not great there. South Carolina, number 15. Defensive rating, though, Tech at number 33 and South Carolina at number 10. My buddy Rachel Dory at Betalytics gives the Hokies a 50.6% chance to cover on the spread. So an ever so slight advantage. And I just think Captain Hook is going to do me a rock solid. So give me Virginia Tech. I believe this game is going to be on Sunday, plus 7.5 on the road against the Gamecocks of South Carolina. With those bets on the board, it's time to get after it with another edition of the Fade 5.
Number 5.
All right, numero cinco on the countdown. Let's get some week one player propage on the board in the National Football League. And holy mother of the gambling gods, there are already hundreds of props populated across the spectrum of sports books. We're looking at BetMGM, DraftKings, FanDuel. I mean, it's a delight right now. So we're back at business, folks. And hopefully this dude will be the same. Rub-a-dub-dub. Give me the Chubb Club. Oh, the bottle service behind the velvet rope. I know he's coming off the broken wheel. I know he's coming off that gruesome knee injury. He's lost burst. He's lost explosiveness. But Joe Mixon, he ain't going to play the first 4 weeks of the regular season. Oh, I know. You think Woody Marks is the ultimate deep league fantasy sleeper, but I say to go Lee Corso, and congratulations on a great career. Not so fast, my friend. I think Chubb actually exhibited the power runner that we saw previously in the last preseason game. Now, is he carrying dudes with a lot of fortitude? Maybe not like he did in the past. He doesn't have that open field speed anymore, but he's still getting the job done on a yak per attempt basis. Again, I witnessed it with my own clear eyes. I may not have 20/20 vision, but I'm pretty damn close. So he'll at least be serviceable. I think he's going to get upwards of 15 carries in the opener against the Rams. And I know LA is projected to be a top 10 defensive line there at Pro Football Focus. They only gave up 10 total touchdowns running back position last year. Sure, there are offensive line issues with the Houston Texans, but I think they will be competitive in this game. I think there will be some goal-to-go opportunities. And who is going to get the ball to the belly? None other than Nick Chubb. So again, they have passed all of the health department inspections, folks. There's not like some infectious diseases milling about. I think the Chubb Club is going to be rocking. It's going to be thumping. The party is going to be on. All I need him for is an anytime touchdown, and we cash in at a cool plus 175. Grab this at DraftKings. Lundy, fade or follow.
The one that has me worried, Brad, is because this is against the Rams. And as you pointed out, they don't give up a lot on the ground. But can we get a little dump off? Maybe like a panic, right?
Oh,
I mean, I could see that. I could see that happening where you get a little dump off. I can't resist this one at plus 175. I think this might be some of the better juice you're going to see out of him for an anytime touchdown over the course of the season. And Brad's right. Whether it's something that we cover on today's pod, we'll obviously get into some stuff next week as well when we get closer to the kickoff on Thursday. But the advice that I've got for everybody right now, I've been telling some folks here in Denver, I've said it on social media a couple of times. As Brad said, a bunch of the stats and the props are actually starting to populate. Yep. Folks, go look right now. Go grab stuff that you like. I've already given you one. I gave it on last week's pod in terms of the Broncos game when they start off at home against the Titans. I'll do that for you again in case you missed it in bonus time. But now is the time to go try to take advantage of some of these lines because stuff's going to move.
Plus 175 to score a touchdown? Yeah, I got a Chubb.
Number 4.
Numero Quattro here on the Fade 5 countdown. Yeah, bad dad jokes. That's what we do here on the Fade 5 every single episode. Riddle me this, riddle me that. A guy that is not going to make you fall flat is Calvin Ridley, the Riddler. I'm going to go for 1,000+ receiving yards this season. I grabbed this season-long market at BetMGM, and look at that, folks. More plus money on the board. Yes! To go Hawk Harrison on you, plus 135. Absolutely love this prop. And I know you got to tie your money up for months on end, but I think it's going to be a fruitful return come the end of the season. Mike Lade, ESPN, who is a esteemed prognosticator, has him for 131 targets, 70 catches, 1,105 receiving yards, and 7 touchdowns. So well north of the 1,000-yard mark needed. He's actually got him at wide receiver 25 for fantasy football devices. Last season saw a healthy target share, averaged 7.1 targets per game. He was number 5 and averaged at the target among all qualifying wide receivers. He was numero uno in total air yards, number 20 in total route wins, and unfortunately, though, he was also numero uno in unrealized air yards. Why? Will Levis puts coffee and mayo together like a disgusting human being. He's not in the picture anymore, folks. It's Cam Ward, the number 1 overall pick. who's got an absolute hose. He can throw it down the field with accuracy and touch. That's going to mesh extraordinarily well with Calvin Ridley. And Brian Callahan has already said this summer they want to get Ridley more involved in the short field pass game. So that will ramp up some potential yards after the catch opportunities. Put it all together. Awesome situation. The defense stinks on the back, and they're going to be in shootouts. The Riddler got to get the last laugh. Numero Quattro on the countdown for him to go with 1,000 yards, plus 135 at BetMGM. Lundy, better follow.
So, I don't like to tie up my money, but one of the things that I have been playing around with here during the gap in between the end of the preseason and the start of the regular season, excuse me, is the different 1,000-yard receiving marks.
Yeah.
And working to parlay some of those together.
Oh, you dirty dog.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
baby.
And I am a dirty dog. But it's one of the things you can do. And by the way, if you go to FanDuel, I believe it's FanDuel. If you go to FanDuel, they also have a threshold of 750. So what you can wind up doing is messing around with some of the guys that are gonna hit 1,000 or gonna hit 1,250, something like that. And then you can take some of those mid-level guys and drop them down to 750, and you can parlay those guys together. So just something to think about from a season-long standpoint. And part of the reason I bring that up is I've told you guys that even though I don't like doing the season-long, I don't like tying up my money, it is something that I like to do when the books give me a bonus bet. Right? When I'm sitting on a freebie for $25 or something like that. If you recall, way back before Brad and I took the siesta over the course of the summer here on this pod, I told you I actually put a free $25 bet on O'Neal Cruz to lead the league in stolen bases, and that was at plus 2,000 odds. All right. And it's still a cluster there at the top. But at the same time, it was a pretty good use of a free bet, because if that all of a sudden pays off, now I'm going to wind up with extra money in the account that I can mess around with during football season. So same concept here. If I can play with some stuff preseason, then I've got money that's going to be waiting for me by the time I'm messing around with the NBA and the NHL, especially, or even March Madness. March Madness.
Baby.
It's August 29th, Brad, and I just said the words March Madness.
And my pants dissolved.
Yep. So anyway, long story short, I like this one. Plus 135. Do I wish I could get it a little bit higher? Of course. But the reason that we're looking at small plus odds is because Ridley should hit this number.
Hey, Riddler, rack damn stats.
Number 3.
Numero Trace here on the Fade 5 countdown on this Freaky Friday. London calling. I cranked a clash there in the background. I love Drake London, and I cannot believe this is a plus money. Hell, I would play it maybe in another alt market at 10 plus touchdowns, but this seems like a watermelon on a stick. It's the lowest hanging fruit imaginable. A plus receiving TDs so the WR1 of the Atlanta Falcons, plus 105 at BetMGM. Little baby seduced by the juice, if you will. I think he's going to get there with relative ease. This could be cash money come like week 12, week 13 of the NFL regular season. Mike Clay has him for 154 targets this season, 97 catches, 1,198 receiving yards, and only eight receiving touchdowns. Again, I think 10 is entirely on the table. He's got him a wide receiver 19. You look at the strength of schedule for fantasy WRs, the 10th easiest of any fantasy wideout in the NFL. Now, he's only done this one time in his first 3 seasons. He went 4 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, and then 9 last year. I think a duplication of last season is entirely attainable. A guy that averaged 9.2 targets per game last year was number 3 in total red zone targets with 25, and he was also number 7 in total route wins. Look, I believe in Michael Penix. I'm not saying he is going to be like a ballistic quarterback by any stretch of the imagination, but could it be a guy that's inside the top 15 fantasy-wise this season? Sure, that's doable. And a big reason is why, because Drake London is a guy that gets a separation. He can high point the ball. He wins routes, especially inside the red zone. And those two are going to be making beautiful music on the field and wonderful connections inside the 20. So to recap, numero tracer, the Fade 5 countdown, Drake London, 8+ receiving touchdowns at plus 105 at BetMGM. Lundy, fade or follow.
So here's where I'm going to caveat this one. I'm going to follow you on this one. but I am not laddering him any higher. I do not trust this Falcons team from an offensive standpoint. We know how good London is, so I'm okay with 8. And you talked about the target share with Clay. You know, Clay's got him for right at 8 touchdowns. And so I'm okay with that. We've talked a lot about Mike Clay's projections and how much you and I both believe in the numbers that he runs. It's a very solid one to follow. But I'll tell you this, I'll play this one with you at 8, and that's it. I'm not laddering him like we did with Ashton Jeanty.
Ooh, baby. All right, Drake London, I'm in. I will ladder him because I am a sicko, to say the least.
Yes, you are. And I'll wait for you to fall off that ladder, Brad, which is basically what would happen to you and I if we were actually on a physical ladder.
Yeah, and hey, you want some more laddering action? Hopefully you're not going to break your arm in the process. Go to the gamingjuice.com right now, you jackals. All of my content is still free on the site. Maybe got a fantasy football draft this weekend. It is the second biggest fantasy draft weekend of the season. I have my rankings there. I have a 1-page cheat sheet that's easily printable that you could use at your draft. Just updated that actually today, as a matter of fact. I've got all kinds of fresh content, not only for the sports gamblers out there in the futures market, but also for people in the world of fantasy football. Make sure you check out my Boom Boston Bank series, which is a hybrid approach. And I got quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers all broken down there. Been rolling those out all week. So you got no excuses. You can also ask me a question. Click Ask Brad and fire it off, and I'll get to it within 24 hours. So go to the gamingjuice.com. Lundy's free and always public, transparent spreadsheet lives there. Mine does as well. Have a ball, folks, because football is back. Click, converse, and cash. ... Maybe.
Number 2.
All right, numero dos here on the Fade 5 countdown. Let's go with Ashton Jeanty. You mentioned him. Let's go ahead and dive head first into that well. And I absolutely love this prop. 1,250 plus rush yards this season for the Boise State Bronco. His former club got waxed last night, and their opener against South Florida. Congratulations if he had the Bulls on the money line as significant plus money. But Jeanty, I think, is going to rock. He's going to roll in Sin City. Plus 170 for him to get to 1,250 ground yards there at BetMGM. I know what you're thinking. Oh, Evan, did you watch the preseason? He has fewer than 4 yards per carry, you dolt. It's the preseason. Even Pete Carroll said, hey, we're not really showing much. It's entirely vanilla scheme. And I watched every single touch of Ashton Jeanty's, especially in that second preseason game. Man, he looked damn good. You saw the explosion. You saw the contact balance. You saw the versatility. You saw the power as well. He's a du jour, folks. He checks all the boxes. And I know you're saying, oh, he played at Boise State last year. He didn't play in the SEC. He didn't play in the Big Ten. Who gives a damn? He's not going to be productive running back at the next level when the competition really ratchets up. Well, he still had some outstanding performances against top-level competition last year, and he set the pace pretty much in every advanced analytic imaginable as tracked by Pro Football Focus at running backs. He was number 1 in yak per attempt, number 1 in missed tackles forced, number 1 in total runs of 15 or more yards, a.k.a. breakaway runs. He has no weaknesses and he can catch the ball cleanly on the backfield. I think he's got to be 18 to 22 touch per game back out of the gate, and I think he's going to steamroll over the competition. Mike Clay's got it for 1,289 rush yards in his projections, and he's got arguably a top 15 offensive line as well. They made a lot of investments in that category in Vegas. So again, numero dos on the Fade 5 countdown. Ashton Jeanty, 1,250 plus rush yards at plus 170 at BetMGM. Lundy, fade or follow?
I'm tired of following you. Isn't there something else?
It's a good line. It's a good number.
It's a great line at plus 170. I don't know how anybody could resist this. They're just, look, Pete Carroll's been doing the same thing. It's like you run a bunch of vanilla plays. That's what the preseason is about. The best practice, the best indications that you get are the joint practices that took place between the teams when they were going to play each other on the weekends. That's when they actually set up their scenarios, right? The coaches get together and are like, okay, what do you want to practice? Okay, what do we want to practice? That's where you want to pay attention to what's been going on, not what's been happening on the field. There's certainly some red flags or some concerns that any of us can have about any of the NFL teams coming out of the preseason, but I'm going to worry about it once I see week one. 1250 for Ashton Jeanty at plus 170 is a great payday.
All right, Ashton Jeanty, all aboard.
Number 1.
All right, numero uno here on the Fade 5 countdown. Let's go with a guy who's got hair that I would kill to have. He's got luscious locks. It's something I dream about on a nightly basis. It's the modern day Joe Burrow. I think he's going to throw at least 40 passing touchdowns this year. Again, significant plus juice there. Plus 260. Are you kidding me? At BetMGM. I know what you're already thinking. Well, they did sign Trey Hendrickson. Maybe this defense is actually going to be respectable. Full stop right there. They're still going to be absolutely shit. Bottom line, period, end of story. They're going to be overly forgiving, rolling out the red or the orange carpet if you want to stick with the team's color scheme. They may be able to ratchet up some of the pressure occasionally there on opposing pockets. Up at the back end is still very, very sketchy. In the conversation for the worst secondary in the NFL, you're going to be involved in a lot of pew shootouts as a result. That ramps up the pass attempts, which ramps up the scoring possibilities, especially in garbage time. I actually already bet him on the over 2.5 touchdowns at plus money against the Cleveland Browns there in week one. He's going to start off the season with a bang. Mike Clay's only got him for 34, but he went over this number last year. In the preseason, it looked like he was in midseason form, Lundy. 18 to 24 for 185 yards and 3 touchdowns. Remember, he traditionally has sat in preseasons, and Zach Taylor said, we got to change something because we've started off on the wrong foot repeatedly in back-to-back years. So hopefully that'll get him going early on. He had a 136.3 passer rating in meaningless football, but last year, number 3 in adjusted completion percentage. He was surgical at times. Number 13, deep ball completion percentage. 13 as well in red zone completion percentage. You got Jamar Chase, who I think is the best wide receiver in the NFL. You got T. Higgins. You got Chase Brown and catch the ball effectively on the backfield. Andre Yoshivas is a long drink inside the red zone. It caught 6 touchdowns last year. Mike Gesicki, he's got all kinds of weapons. They added Noah Fant, too. He'll have his moments. So Joe Burrow, numero uno on the Fade 5 countdown on this Friday. I think he throws for at least 40 touchdowns, plus 260 at BetMGM. And don't be surprised, folks, if he flirts with 50. Lundy, fade, or follow.
You finally got me on something where I think you're smoking crack. I'm fading you on this one. I don't think he hits 40. I get it. I understand they may wind up in some shootouts, but I think 40 is too big of a number. I think he's upper 30s. I think he's probably going to finish at 3 dozen. Give me 36, but I'm not playing the game all the way up to 40. This isn't one that I can buy in on with Joe Cool as much as I wish that I could. I'm sitting back with this one, Brad. You're gonna you play around with this one. You have some fun. I'm not touching it.
You're an absolute coward, which means you got to instill some confidence in me right now. No Team Huevos parlay play of the day. That'll be back next week, week 1 of the NFL season. But of course, we got more bets and bonus time. Lundy, I don't care what sport it is. Just fat my wallet. What else you got?
You don't care what sport? You don't care?
I don't care. Ping pong. Let's go.
I can go anywhere with it. You're okay with it? All right. Let me go to tonight's action, by the way. Folks, take Georgia Tech and lay the points against Coach Prime and company. This defense on Colorado is going to be better than it was, but at the same time, I think Georgia Tech gets the job done at Folsom Field up in Boulder this evening, 8 o'clock Eastern time kickoff for that one. I think Georgia Tech wins, and the fact that they're only laying 3.5, I'm okay with. If you want to alt line it down to 2.5, just in case, and pair it up with something else on tonight's schedule, I wouldn't blame you for that one at all. Last night in college football, Brad, with the exception of Wyoming winning on the road, every home team won last night in college
Florida,
football.
hello.
It was across the board, including the Bulls of South Florida taking care of business against the Boise State Broncos. But I don't have that same faith in what Prime and company are going to be able to do this evening. So because of that, I will lay the 3.5. I don't mind alting it to 2.5, pairing it up with something else. But I do think that Ramblin' Wreck gets things done there with Georgia Tech tonight up in Boulder. We'll have some more college football plays. I'll get them up on the spreadsheet for you. But how about, because you know what, folks? I told you that I was going to tell you the one I gave you last week, just in case you're slow, just in case you're slow coming back to the Fade 5. I know Brad and I were gone for a few days. Okay, fine, whatever. Okay, in case you missed it on last week's one, I'm going to tell you again, take Evan Ingram and take the over on 34.5 receiving yards in week 1 against the Tennessee Titans. I've told you before, this is a team. The Broncos have been so void of a tight end for so freaking long that I think we are going to see Sean Payton purposely try to establish Evan Ingram early in the season, make sure that that connection exists between him and Bo Nix, which I saw with my own eyes at training camp, and I believe is going to continue into the regular season. I think that number for Evan Ingram is too low. I think he is going to go north of 40 yards for game 1. And like I said, I think I said this on last week's pod. He may have 25 by halftime. I think they are truly going to try to establish him because of how much they have needed a tight end here in Denver for so long. 34.5 is way too low. I got that number minus 110 at Caesars. Go track it down at your favorite book because I do think he's going to eclipse that number. Then for this evening, Brad, I don't get this, okay? Sometimes the odds makers, I get it. They know more than we do. They're smarter than we are. They understand what an algorithm is because I don't. Like, algorithm to me is probably like a TikTok dance, right? Something or other. Brad, Nick Castellanos. All right. We like Nick. We like Nick here on the pod. We've spoken about, on occasion he would unbutton the jersey a little bit, right? Kind of trying to tempt.
Always.
You got to try to tempt the ladies. So they're taking on the Braves this evening, and Bryce Elder will be on the bump for Atlanta.
Oh, no bueno.
Nick Castellanos for a home run tonight is plus 575.
Ooh.
Plus 5. One more time, folks. Plus 575. You can get that at BetMGM. You can get that at Bet 365. Over at DraftKings, he's plus 500. At Caesars, he's 525. So you can shop around. Brad, here's why that matters. Bryce Elder in matchups against Nick Castellanos. Castellanos is 4 for 8 lifetime. All 4 of them are home runs.
Wow.
He's batting 500 and all 4 hits are home runs. You want to back it down and play him on total bags? I don't care. But if you're going to give me plus 575 for him to hit a home run tonight against a guy that's all he's ever done is hit home runs against him, then yes, please. I would be more than happy to take that one. If you want to back it down a little bit, again, I'm going with batters versus pitchers in terms of the history. If you want to make it super simple, I built this one at BetMGM when Brad was rambling on about Ashton Jeanty. Castellanos for a hit. Pasquantino for a hit, who in the last 2 weeks is batting 280. He's also facing off with, hang on a minute, I'm going to forget who the heck he's up against for tonight. Who is it? Mr. Anderson? Is it Mr. Anderson? Oh no, it's Chris Paddock of the Tigers, who's a righty. If you go back and look at Pasquantino's stats here on the season, like 23 of his 28 or whatever it is home runs are against righties. He's got like 80% of his doubles are against righties. So all I need him to have is 1 hit. And then I added in Yordan Alvarez, also somebody that has a very good history tonight. He's the one. There we go. He's the one facing off with Tyler Anderson of the Angels. So one more time over at BetMGM, Castellanos, Pasquantino, and Yordan Alvarez. If all 3 of those guys just get a hit at BetMGM, that is a 3-leg parlay at plus 160. So if you want to play some baseball for this evening, you can. Many more college football bets going up on the spreadsheet over the course of this afternoon. But for now, as always, I yield the floor to the fine gentleman from Illinois.
All right, gracias, mi amigo. Let's stay in college football, shall we? Let's go with the action tonight on the junior circuit. Give me the Baylor Bears +2 at a -115 at BetMGM against the Auburn Tigers. My buddy Rachel Dory there at Betalytics gives the Bears a 55.9% chance to cover on the spread. The advanced analytics and some of the forward-thinking metrics that are out there. Very evenly matched game. This may come down to the final possession ultimately, but I think Baylor is going to squeak it out, at least the cover plus the 2. I don't have the huevos to put it on the money line. They may lose this by un punto, but they will find a way to cover, I believe. So again, Baylor +2. On Saturday, Tulane. I say the Green Wave covers against Northwestern +5.5. I'll probably sprinkle a little bit on the money line as well. It's a -105 juice, so a light juice against the Wildcats. They're the Big Ten team of Chicago. Get out here with that nonsense, by the way. But you look at Tulane, a team that is 19 spots higher than Northwestern, according to ESPN's Football Power Index to begin the season. You look as well, a pretty good defensive team, projected to be number 31 in the country, Northwestern, a team that is much lower in that category. Offensive rating, Tulane inside the top 25, Northwestern at number 73 is the projection. So I like Tulane to cover the +5.5 they are getting against the Wildcats. I think they lose by at most 3 points in that one. Gut feeling, folks. I'm not going to give an explanation. I'm just shooting from the hip. Ohio State, the line is swung. So we got some reverse line action. You're a big Texas guy. You're going to lay it with a 1. I'm taking OSU inside the shoe plus the 1.
Nope. I'm taking Texas. I'm taking Texas straight up on the money line. I got them at a very small plus odds about maybe 8-9 days ago. I'm sticking to that one. I didn't get it by much. I think it was like plus 105 or 108 or something like that. I didn't get a great profit on it, but I think Texas goes in and takes care of business. I'm on the opposite side of you with this one.
I think Brutus is going to be grinding in celebration on a field goal post at some point in the game. So I'm going to go with the Ohio State. Again, I have to say that for
going over there and like grinding on Bevo's leg.
Yeah. Oh, he could do that. Live Bevo, costume Bevo, any Bevo will do for Brutus, I think, ultimately. But he's going to roll with the hook 'em horns and the fight McConaughey's. I'm going to go with the Ohio State. I also like LSU plus the points this weekend. And then elsewhere, cherry on top of the Sunday, going back to the NFL season-long market, I think the odds makers are still severely intoxicated when it comes to everything Matthew Golden. Like, what the hell are they doing right now? He's 25-1 still to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't know if you saw the news. Jaden Reed has got a Jones fracture now. He said, hey, I'm going to try to play through this thing. But he is going to be extremely limited because it is a painful injury that endures. And Romeo Dobbs missed time in the month of August. Ontavian Wicks is missed time in the month of August. Jordan Love has called Golden a stud. For him just to get to 800 receiving yards at DraftKings, it's still plus money, plus 125. It's over 3-1 odds for him to get to 1,000. All of those were on the table, including the Offensive Rookie of the Year market at 25-1. At BetMGM. Take advantage now, folks. Matthew Golden, I think he's even going to have a banner week 1 against the arch rival Detroit Lions. All right, we are out of breath, and we are out of time here on the Fade 5 podcast. Do us a favor, drop us a rating and a review at your convenience. Also, feed or follow us on the X. Lundy, always giving it to you there, at Nate Lundy. I'm doing the same, at Noisy Huevos. Listen to me as well on BetMGM tonight, Monday through Friday, all fantasy and sports betting all the time. Tune in from 7-11 p.m. Eastern across Odyssey and iHeart Station. So the outstanding Nathaniel Lundy, I'm Brad Evans. Until next time, as always, fade or follow. That is up to you. Go bet on Matthew Golden.